everybody, welcome back to the Agriculture Point of View video segment. My name is Macy Hughes and I'm the president of the Peach County High FFA chapter.
I'm Elena Mitchell and I'm the reporter of the Peach County High FFA chapter.
Hi, my name is Tim Dees and I serve as the secretary at the Peach County High School FFA chapter. And today we have with us the United States Secretary of Agriculture, Mr. Sonny Perdue. How are you, Mr. Perdue?
I'm doing great, guys. It's good to be with you. And obviously it's good to talk with some home folks there, just adjacent to my home in Bon Air. So glad to visit with you all. Look forward to a great conversation.
Without further ado, let's get this interview started.
Mr. Secretary, how did agriculture impact your childhood?
Well, it taught me how to work. I grew up on a small, not so small, but a diversified row crop farm there in Bon Air, Georgia, just 20 miles east of where your school is located there. And we had corn, wheat, beans, peanuts, cotton, and also a dairy farm. So I learned from a very early age over bottle feeding calves and taking care of them. And it was a great way to grow up. I learned the value of hard work. I learned the value of doing things on time. And because agriculture doesn't wait for you, you can't plant in August and harvest in September. You've got to do things decently and in order. And that's one of the lessons that agriculture taught me as a young person growing up, and also saw the really, I call it the despair of a drought and the exhilaration of a great crop. So it's not always in your control, but you got to keep on going.
That's right. That's right. Next question. How has agriculture impacted your life as the Secretary of Agriculture?
Well, again, I think my biography, having grown up on that farm, I went to the University of Georgia. I was influenced by a veterinarian who would come and care for our cows. So from the 9th grade, I wanted to be a veterinarian. And I went to the University of Georgia and graduated as a veterinarian in 1971. When I went in 67 in school, Vietnam was really boiling up. So I volunteered to go and serve my country in the Air Force there. And I had that obligation after the veterinary school. But then my career after that was essentially in agribusiness. I practiced for a little bit, but I was mostly in the ag business, farm supply. Farmers were my customers overall. So I felt like my biography kind of lent itself to this job. I just get to do it all over the country and in many places all over internationally. So it's been a great fit for me. It's been a real honor to work with farmers, producers all across the country. And Tim, I'll tell you that we may talk a little different. We may practice different crops or produce different crops, but farm people all over the country are so much the same. They've got great values, hard work, and really are risk takers.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Mr. Perdue, what are some of the challenges that the agriculture industry face today? And in your opinion, how can members of the FFA organization help with those challenges?
That's a great question. Obviously, our producers in the United States, both crop and livestock, are so productive, Macy, that we have to depend on trade and exports for profitability. We produce much more than we can consume domestically. And that's really a blessing for the United States of America. We're food independent. We don't have to depend on anywhere else for food. And that helps us to be really have food security, national security, and it helps us as Americans live our lives in a very blessed way. The challenges obviously are trade, because in order for farmers to become profitable, they have to have export opportunities in order to sell the excess there to other people. So labor is another issue and another challenge that we see. Not many young people like yourselves want to work in agriculture today, but I think it's really a matter of not understanding the broad array of opportunities that are in the agricultural field. So I hope in FFA you all could do a survey of all the different kind of career choices that you can have. It's not your grandfather's field anymore. It's a larger, much larger biotech, genetics, so many things in agriculture that bright young people can do. I think the thing that you all can do is to be great communicators. The one thing that your parents and grandparents have done is produce great, wholesome, nutritious, affordable food, but they haven't talked about how they've done it. Your generation wants to know what goes into it and how safe is it and how did you do this? And I think you all, your generation, can help us to be not only great producers, but great communicators in a transparent way.
Okay, Mr. Perdue, briefly describe a day in life of a Secretary of Agriculture and what are some of the favorite parts of your job?
Well, Elena, I would try to do that, but you said briefly, and there's no way to do that briefly. Obviously, our days are full. We make policy decisions. I travel usually a couple of times a week to get out and hear from farmers directly because they're really our customers. USDA is there to meet them as well as consumers and understand how we can serve them better. We've got 8 major mission areas at USDA, including the Forest Service. And most people know about the FSA or the FPAC group that deals with farmers, NRCS, but there are many others there, from research and education, food safety, our food nutrition that does your lunchroom, participates with your lunchroom folks, and our supplemental nutrition program. So there are many, many policy decisions that have to be made, as well as interacting with people all over the country and internationally in our trade discussions. So I may go from a call with the Secretary of Agriculture and Environment in the UK that's just undergoing Brexit, talking about a free trade agreement there, to the next I may be talking about ethanol in Iowa, and then the poultry in Georgia or in the Delmarva Peninsula. So it's a varied experience. You don't get bored because it's different every day. And it's a great opportunity, though, to connect people. I'm one of these that believe, having been governor of Georgia, I think most people just want government to work for them and with them, not against them. And that's what we try to do at the USDA.
Yes, sir, most definitely. And that leads us into our next question, which is, what are some initiatives or projects currently taking place in the agricultural industry you are particularly excited about?
Well, again, the biotechnic field is just amazing, and all the new types of things, precision agriculture. One of the things we're doing, Tim, now is a reconnect program to give broadband connection to many small rural areas around the country. And as you know, we've seen during the COVID, this is critical to have broadband connectivity, whether it's e-commerce, telehealth, distance learning, precision ag, or many of those types of things that broadband is really critical in that way. We're trying to get it as many areas as possible. So we saw in COVID how important it was if you had to do your job or even learn from home or go to school from home, then you have to have connectivity to do that. So we're doing that, as well as really progressing in our biotechnology field and moving along to make sure that our regulation responsibility keep up with the marketplace, that we don't become a hindrance because our regulations don't fit the reality of what's happening in the marketplace today.
Definitely.
Awesome, awesome. Is there any advice you would like to share with the Peach County FFA or the Georgia FFA Association as a whole?
Sure, you probably know from looking at our pictures with selfies with Sonny, there are a lot of FFA kids in there, and we really enjoy. I get inspiration really whenever I'm around FFA chapters and see really the diversity and both gender, racial, and other things. And really, it's the future, I believe, of and the reason I'm very optimistic about the future of agriculture is because you guys have a view that it's all of us, and that you can communicate in a way that maybe people my generation were just kind of sat behind the farm gate and did what we did. We were independent, but we didn't talk about it. Now the consumer wants to know what's going on and why and how. And I think communication is a real key. So for FFA, I want you all to understand all the aspects of agriculture, but understand that in America, we produce the safest, most wholesome, nutritious, affordable food on the planet. And it ought to be a noble cause. It is a noble cause that we ought to be proud of and talk about on an ongoing basis. I think the COVID pandemic this year made many people recognize the food supply chain and where that food actually came from.
So our officer team is in the process of raising awareness of the need of an FFA chapter to be established at one of our feeding middle schools in the county. Before we present the need to our local Board of Education, do you have any advice for us, Mr. Perdue?
I have a recommendation. I would contact your commission or your Board of Education and ask if you could bring your officers to a meeting and do a mock FFA meeting there in front of the Board of Education, showing them how you learn parliamentary procedure, how you are really organized in a way. Each officer has their own job. You talk about that, go through one of those meetings and say, we're about not just about farmers, but we're about civic engagement. We're teaching civic engagement. We're teaching citizens how to live in this democracy and fulfill their duties as productive citizens. And that's why we think it's very important to have these in middle school. And we would love to request that you all provide teachers and FFA teachers in our middle schools and our feeder schools so they can get a head start here and we can be more productive when they get to high school. So that's what I would recommend.
That's right. It's very important to add the other aspects of agriculture in when you're presenting things to other people. And as an FFA member, you are someone we look highly upon. When you were our age and our position, who was your idol or who has influenced your life's work the most?
Well, as I indicated, I grew up on a diversified row crop farm there in Bonaire, Georgia, but our family also had a dairy, and our local veterinarian would come out and care for our dairies, dairy cows, and his name was Dr. Davis, and he kind of became my influence of wanting to become a veterinarian. And I made that decision when I was in the 9th grade. If you want to be a veterinarian, you've got to really start early, study hard, make good grades, and get experience and life skills there to apply for veterinary school. So I'd have to say Dr. Calvin Davis was my inspiration there. He showed me all the great compassionate aspects of animal care and how you cared for the animals that were helping us produce the food and that we enjoy as Americans. So that's who influenced me.
That hit home a little bit for me because my dream is to go to vet school. I want to go to UGA or ABAG. I want to pursue that. What or who is your motivation today?
Well, again, I think that's a pretty easy answer. I've been married to my wife, Mary, for 48 years, and she continues to inspire and motivate me every day. She's there by my side, regardless of where God leads us. She's there as a support and an encourager, and she makes me feel special every day, and she literally is my motivation. So as you young people look for a spouse, choose well, because they have an amazing impact on your life. I'm just one of the most fortunate people on earth to have been married to this amazing woman for 48 years.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
What is one of your favorite stories or memories?
Oh, wow. I've got so many. I don't know. I'm not a big storyteller, but I've got so many aspects of that. I probably didn't prepare very well for that question, but I don't know if I can think of one right here or not, but I've got great memories. I've lived a great life. I graduated from Warner Robins High School and walked on with the Bulldogs at the University of Georgia. Had a great time playing there for a couple of years, was admitted to veterinary school, and then had a great service in the Air Force for 3 years, practiced veterinary medicine in Raleigh, North Carolina, and a great practice, and had a career in agribusiness there, and both in Peach County as well as in Houston County and several other locations around Georgia and the Carolinas. So I've got so many memories. Elena, it would take me too long to talk about all the special stories and memories that I've got today, but agriculture has been a great life for me, and I applaud you all for being engaged in FFA. Regardless of what your career choice is going to be, it's preparing you for a life of service and understanding how to get things done. So you'll be better leaders wherever your life takes you. You'll be better community servants in that regard. So I wish all of you well, and I want to thank you for this interview today and for all of FFA.
Thank you so much, Mr. Perdue, for your time. You don't understand how much of an opportunity this is just for FFA members as a whole, or even just our small little Peach County.
Well, you're going to make some people jealous about why they didn't think of this first. Looking good, guys. Thank y'all so much.
Yes, sir. And that just about wraps up our video segment today. Once again, thank you, Mr. Perdue. And this is the Peach County High FFA chapter Ag Point of View video segment. Thank you for watching.